What is... Taco Tuesday. What's up, Tyler? What are you doing?
I'm fine.
Where's the energy, man? Let's bring it. I'm ready. I'm so excited to have a chance to get in here, talk to everybody. If you are watching this right now, it's Tuesday. It's Ask DLF. This is the show. We've been doing it for a few months now. It's the best chat room in the history of YouTube right here. And Periscope, get in here too. You have questions, we're going to do everything we can to give you the best answers possible. We're going to break down everything that we saw. Who are you worried about? Who are you excited about? Who's moving down your rankings? Who's moving up your rankings? Who are you looking to trade? Who are you looking to acquire? We're going to talk about all of it. Tyler, are you excited and ready to do this with this incredible group of people watching right now?
I appreciate everyone watching.
I am excited to be brought to you by DynastyLeagueFootball.com as well. Make sure that you guys are checking out DynastyLeagueFootball.com. That's where you can find Tyler's work. That's where you can find my work. That's where this YouTube channel is. Make sure you're checking all of that out. We got a bunch of questions already coming in. My fault on setting up the stream a little bit late. We couldn't get a bunch of them in early, but you guys are killing it. Ed's here. It's Taco Tuesday. What is up, Ed? AJ's pumped. Let's go. Todd's here for it. Me too. Kevin, yo. If you're here, yeah, look, anybody in the chat, just tell us hi. It's great to hear from you guys. Genuinely enjoy hearing from all of you. Sup, fellas? Glad to see you both. It's good to see you here. Adam, local liability. Haven't sat in a sec. Probably have the Rona. Waiting for results. Well, local, we hope you get better. Sorry to hear that you're sick, but glad that you're joining us. Yeah, like get you some chicken noodle soup, get you some Benadryl or something. I don't know what to give you. I'm not a doctor. But
Benadryl?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I can help diagnose what's wrong with your dynasty team, though, and that's what we're gonna do, Tyler. So the first thing, we need a doctor for this one bad. What is Clyde Edwards-Helaire's value at this point? Good question.
I mean, it's not good. It's not good. I'll tell you that. It's not good.
Like right now, obviously you keep up-to-date rankings. Like, how far have you dropped him at
far?
This point?
Pretty far.
Okay. Do you care to elaborate? Maybe.
I mean, I can elaborate. Sure. I mean, he is... Yeah, I mean, he's moved down a couple of rounds. I mean, it's bad. It's bad, right? I mean, when you fumble in front of everyone, that hurts. That hurts your dynasty value. People don't trust you anymore.
That's a really good point. It's a really rough time for literally your first ever career fumble, right? I mean, that's not how you want to do it.
I know.
Right there, national television, right in front of everybody. But what a game. Hopefully we get a chance to see that. If you guys have any Clyde Edwards-Helaire trades that you have been seeing in your league, I would love to get a chance to kind of break some of those down or talk about those a little bit. Dylan with a really good question coming in here as well. And if you are here and you have any questions, you want to toss them out, use the live chat function. Let's get those in here. We'll talk it through. We are going to be about 90 minutes today. So make sure, like, don't hesitate. We don't have 4 hours like normal. 90 minutes. Get those questions in. Let's rock and roll. Dylan asks, if you're not competitive this year, would you trade Swift and Dobbins?
No. Swift for Dobbins.
Sorry, yeah. Swift for Dobbins and a 23 first in a 12-team Dynasty Superflex.
No. Why would I do that? I mean, if I'm not competitive, I guess I see the logic. You're getting a first and you're getting Dobbins, but I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough with how Swift has played. I think you need to get more than that. Don't you?
So, yeah, you take the injury out of it, and this would have been unfair the other way, right? Like you would have much preferred the Dobbins in a first.
Yeah, but you can't take the injury out of it. I mean, the
Right,
injury is a big deal.
Definitely. So with the injury now, how much is that?
A lot.
Gotten it to the point where it's definitely Swift now.
Yeah, it would be. It would be Swift.
Okay.
It would be Swift because Swift has gained value and Dobbins is injured. So it would be Swift. The 23 first isn't enough. Not enough.
What do you think? Let's okay, alternate universe. I don't know. You're such a movie buff. I'm sure you're paying attention with the What If series and the alternate timelines from Marvel.
I've never heard of it.
I know you're way up to date on these. What about a timeline where Dobbins doesn't get hurt? How much fun would it be to watch him in this Baltimore offense right now? Goodness gracious.
Well, it would be a lot better than what they have.
It would be so much fun, right? Like it would have been. We got robbed. We got
robbed of a lot of things.
We did. Why can't we ever have nice things, Tyler?
Yeah, I know. That's really what I've been saying all day.
So, yeah, I think I'm with you. I would prefer to have Swift. I'd need a little bit extra. Let's talk about Swift for a second. There was a little bit of clamor. Some people frustrated with his role in the offense. Good week one. I think it was a pretty decent floor kind of a game from him last night. Are you is there any part of you that's worried about how much work Jamal Williams is getting?
No.
Okay. Simple enough. Me neither. Yeah, Adam, what's up, fellas? Damian Scott in the house. What's up, Damian? What are your thoughts?
I love you, Damian. I really do.
Me too. Is this Mad Scientist?
Yes.
Yeah, what's up, Mad Scientist? Thank you for joining us. What are your thoughts on Jonathan Taylor, and are you concerned with that offense? You've been pretty vocal about Colts and their fearless leader. What do you think so far?
Carson failure. Well, actually, now, I mean, who knows? I don't know. I'm concerned, I guess. It really feels, I mean, if you really look at it, it really feels like in a 1 QB league, forget Superflex for a second, it really feels like you have Christian McCaffrey as number 1, and then really the difference between number 2 and number 13 is nothing. Really, I mean, right now I have Taylor at 2 still and Gibson at 13. And the difference between Taylor and Gibson doesn't feel like it's that much.
Yeah. So, gosh. Kind of everything, you're right. Everything after Christian McCaffrey, it feels like there's a little bit of frustration with the role that they're playing. And this is just a reality of where we are. I mean, we've been saying it for a while that we're going to get to a place of that true 3-down back workhorse where we just don't have it anymore. And that's, that's just true. Even the ones that right now do, it seems like they're a little bit older. And, yeah, interesting time we're moving into in the Dynasty landscape. Trogdor, Taco Tuesday. How much do you love that?
I don't.
I do love it. And I think everybody else loves it. You got to get on the bandwagon. Did you have something else you were going to add right there?
No.
Okay. AJ says get well. LL, yes, definitely get well. Keep us up to date, local. If there's anything you can do, hit us up. Ed wants to know what's up with your Saints. Adam Troutman, 80% of snaps in week 1 and down to 50% in week 2. It's almost like what happens in week 1 isn't necessarily doomed to repeat every single week.
Oh, good. So the Saints are going to suck every week then? We
overreact to everything, especially when we have data. Troutman was always going to have this role. The 80% in week 1 had more to do with the game script. If they look like they looked this past week, they're not going to be very good. You're not going to want anybody in that offense.
Juwan Johnson is not a thing, though. It's not like Juwan Johnson got more snaps. Juwan Johnson just is a red zone player, and that's it. You cannot start someone who only comes in the red zone. There are tight ends like this. They come and go all the time, and you don't want to start them.
You're definitely not starting them. I don't mind stashing them because, look, if you're going to have 12 snaps and get 2 touchdowns out of it, you're earning potentially more time. And for somebody who's just transitioning to the position, like, I can be patient with that on the back end of my dynasty roster. But I'm not starting him. 100% not.
I guess I could be patient with that, but I just think that, do you think he's ever going to develop into someone who gets regular playing time? Because I'm not sure that I do.
I mean, I think it's worth this. Like, somebody who made the plays that he did, it's worth stashing. If he does nothing for the next 4 weeks, yeah, fine.
Well, I'm fine stashing him, but like for now, I still have him above, players who haven't done anything, like Jacob Harris, Kylan Granson, Hunter Long. Those 3 have done 0.
Yeah.
But I think those are all better players. All 3 of them are better.
Could be.
So I will, if they start to do anything, I'll move, them up. I just think that, Johnson is not someone I'm interested in. If I'm going to stash a tight end, there are some tight ends, deeper tight ends who've had promising usage. He is not one of them. He's not one of them.
Well, and to Ed's point, I mean, honestly, like, I am like, Troutman is just not some. I've been saying this. For
let me. I can talk about Troutman too.
Troutman. I'm not.
No, I'm not interested in Troutman whatsoever. This is not a. This isn't. I'm not interested in either. I'm not interested in either. I don't want 80% of the snaps with no receptions, lots of targets but no useful receptions, and then I don't want comes onto the field for the end zone and sits on the bench the rest of the game. That doesn't work. So they're literally, if you combine those 2 into one person, you would be able to start them. But with the way that we're going, we're going to have 0 startable tight ends in New Orleans instead of 1. Yeah, like you can't split that role. It's not good enough. This is not the Cowboys where you can have 2 somewhat usable tight ends, splitting a role. This is not the Cowboys. So if they're going to be splitting, they just forget it.
Really good question, Ed. Kevin hops in. 12-team Dynasty Superflex 5-point passing TD. You don't see that very much.
Whatever.
Who won this trade? Herbert and JT for Lamar, Gibson, and Gallup.
Gallup's not enough. So it's Herbert and JT.
See, Lamar over Herbert for me. And Gibson and JT are close enough to me that Gallup
I have concerns. You want to talk about someone I have more concerns with? Gibson, I have more concerns than I do with Swift. Much more. Because I was always more confident in Swift's talent than Gibson. I've said the whole time that I think Swift is a better player, but there were other issues. Mm-hmm. Those other issues have not gone away. But with Gibson, we seem to have some of the issues that are exactly what I thought could be a problem. Gibson, inconsistent. Not really meant to carry a workload. CMC role. What CMC role? Is that is a ridiculous expectation that some people had. I was just like, that's just not possible. So, I think that those people, that delusion has been, corrected after 2 weeks. They see now that Gibson is going to be what he is, which is actually, with Swift, I was wrong. I was very wrong about Swift. A lot of things wrong, but with Gibson, I was right on the money. I mean, I said that Gibson would be a mid to low end RB1, and that's exactly what I think he's going to be. That's if he maintains the equivalent average of his usage from weeks 1 and 2, he will be a mid to low end RB1, and I think that that's great. I mean, he's a young player. He was drafted in the 3rd round. You probably picked him in the late 2nd rounds of rookie drafts. And if I told you could get a couple years of a mid to low RB1 in the late 2nd, I mean, that would be. You should be ecstatic. But if you bought Gibson at his ceiling price, that's on you. If you bought Gibson at a price saying he has to be top 3 to pay it off, that's on you. I told you not to do that. But, my ranking of Gibson looks pretty good now. I haven't moved Gibson at all after the first 2 games. He's stayed exactly where I had him ranked before. But I have concerns. I do.
Yeah. Through 2 games, I don't know. We had plenty of 2-game stretches like this for Gibson last year, right? Like, I guess I'm a little confused because and not you, like what you just said is 100% solid, but I've seen a lot of people who are acting like McKissick is a complete surprise.
No, why should it be a surprise?
Yeah, he was there last year.
No
like
surprise.
he had the same role, and Gibson was still, what was he, top 6?
There's no surprise. I don't know why anyone is surprised. He has the same role as last year with a few more carries, which is exactly what I said he would do. And that's exactly what most reasonable people expected. You know, the people who said he would be top 3 were always out of their minds. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I said that many times on this very show. I said that on Twitter a zillion times. And, you know, I just think that people sometimes get a little carried away. Like if you're RB8, is that bad? Like, you can win. Like, if you have an RB8 on your team, the RB8, that's like a winning player, right? I mean, you want that player on your team, right? They're 23 years old. They just turned 23 this summer. You don't want that player? I mean, I would love that player. I would really like that player on my team. So I'm not panicking on Gibson at all. I'm just I'm excited for what he is. I just don't have an unreasonable expectation that he's going to be top 3 because that's ridiculous. And it's always been ridiculous because his talent isn't there. He was a converted wide receiver. I mean, Gibson is not going to be a top 3 running back in the NFL. People who thought that, I never got it. I think we're seeing what he's going to be.
Yeah, and I think we all I think it's reasonable to have an expectation that a converted wide receiver could be utilized more in the passing game. I think that's a reasonable expectation. I think that's within his realm of possibilities. As you said, he's 23 years old. It's not impossible that at some point he does develop that role, but he's not as good in the passing game as J.D. McKissic is right now because he's one of the best. He's really good at it.
No, the issue is the pass blocking. He's not as good in pass blocking. He is a big zero. A zero. And McKissic is a great pass blocker, and Gibson is nothing. Terrible.
Yep.
He needs to work on that. If you want to tell him what he needs to do to become the 3 down back, to be that top 3, he needs to work on that. It's the same thing that keeps Aaron Jones out of being top 3. Or at least it did in the past. Maybe he worked on it this season because he looked pretty good last night.
Yeah, Ed talked about Dobbins not being as involved in the pass game. It's true.
That's a Lamar thing, though.
I think that's more of a Lamar thing. YZR Fantasy, what's up, dude? Is Baker a dynasty buy? Make sure you're following this guy on Twitter. He's really smart.
I agree with that. Yeah, totally endorse that.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure it is at YZR_fantasy. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, make sure you're following him. That's a good follow.
Yeah, he's even tuned into my YouTube channel in the middle of the night when I was doing like a late night stream and came in with a bunch of questions and sparked some activity in that chat. So yeah, you should follow him for sure.
Yeah, he wants to know if Baker is a dynasty buy. Playing out of his mind in reality, but not yet translating to fantasy points. What do we think about Baker right now? Is he coming into his own?
Well, I mean, it's kind of two different conversations, right? If you're in a 1 QB, to me, Baker is irrelevant. Baker's never going to be. If you're starting Baker, you're a loser. You're a losing team, a loser, because he's never going to have the volume. So in a 1 QB league, forget it. He's someone I just avoid. I don't want him. No, thank you. And in Superflex league, though, I agree. I think he is a good. Most leagues are Superflex at this point. And I think he is a good dynasty buy. I mean, at this point, I've moved him up in my rankings. I look beyond what's on the fantasy. But actually, you know what I actually almost never do? I almost never look at fantasy finishes. I actually find that hurts you. It hurts you to look at fantasy finishes week per week because that's actually not the important information. The important information is targets for wide receivers, opportunity share for running backs, performance for quarterbacks, really, in Superflex. How good were they? And, some of the same things as receiver for tight ends. Oh, and snap count for running back, receive everything but quarterback. Those are actually much more important than how many fantasy points someone scored. So, yes, I've noticed that Baker has played well. Very much so. And in Superflex at this point, I mean, at this point, I have Baker quarterback 14 in Superflex. I think he's going to be usable for years. I think Baker has right. Well, I think he has years of a usable QB2 career ahead of him. And in Superflex, that's very valuable.
Yeah, I think it's about right. Because even last year when he got hot and was really good, it's still on his hottest stretch, he was still QB10 or QB8 or something like that.
He's QB9. He doesn't run and he's in a low volume offense. QB8, QB9 is his ceiling. So in 1 QB, there's no interest. But in Superflex, you need that kind of guy.
QB14, some weapons. Come on, Cleveland. You've got 3 running backs who could start anywhere, basically.
Recommendation, actually. I do. I have a
3 tight
recommendation.
ends who are pretty good, but
I have
like the
I have
receiving
some-
core is bad.
I have something I would suggest that people do.
Okay.
If you could trade Jalen Hurts for Baker Mayfield plus, I have Baker Mayfield ranked higher in Superflex. If you could trade Jalen Hurts for Baker Mayfield plus, I would do it. I would do it.
It has to be a big plus for me.
Oh, I mean, I have Baker ranked higher, so I wouldn't need anything, but I know I can get a plus. No, I don't think Hurts is starting quarterback in the NFL in 2023. And I think Baker in 2026 is going to be starting quarterback in the NFL. Like, I think Baker's career is going to be lengthy. Like, I think it's going to be lengthy. I think Baker's a solid, safe Superflex asset. And I am not convinced that Jalen Hurts is any good. I'm still not convinced at all. So if I can get out for Baker plus, like there's a universe where I can get Baker and maybe like a second and a third or something for Hurts. I would just get out. You know, Ed says Hurts has a huge floor, but he doesn't have a huge floor if he's not starting. He has a huge floor when he's playing, but if he's not playing, he has floor 0. Whereas
I see him out of the NFL. That's what I'm saying. Like, I guess that's been my point on him.
I totally do. He's not that good. He's not that good. He wasn't that good of a prospect. He was a second round pick for a reason. He wasn't a special prospect. Right. And that's huge risk, right? That's huge risk. 5 games, 6 games. I mean, the guy could be nothing. I mean, you could have nothing. At the end of the year, you could have nothing. You could have a backup. Whereas Baker, you have years. I'm convinced Baker's going to be, they're going to sign him to an extension. You're going to have 3, 4, 5 years of quarterback play. In Superflex, I don't need the upside of Hurts as much. I mean, Hurts is not going to ever, there's no way I had a Superflex team where Hurts is my quarterback 1. Hurts is going to be my quarterback 2. And if I drafted it a long time ago, if I have Hurts, he's probably my quarterback 4. So I can just get out. I don't like, who's a better real life NFL quarterback? Baker Mayfield or Jalen Hurts? I think it's Baker Mayfield, and it's not even close. It's not even close. Baker Mayfield's been one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year in his 2 games, and Jalen Hurts not so much.
Who was better 6 starts into their career?
Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield almost set a rookie record. Baker Mayfield. No, he wasn't.
The second year.
No, he wasn't. Baker Mayfield almost set a rookie record. He was really good.
You're right. It was his second year.
Yeah, no, you're very wrong. Baker Mayfield came out hot.
It was that
Baker
weird
Mayfield was great. No, Baker Mayfield is actually, I think, was underrated coming into this year.
Fine, his rookie year, he was fine.
He was really good.
He
was really good. He jumped up to the quarterback 2 in Dynasty after his rookie year. How bad could he have been? What could he have been?
Yeah, AJ thought he liked the Herbert side, but he didn't see Gibson in there. So he decided to still go with the Herbert side. So he still agreed with you. Skylar, are we buying or selling on Kittle or Ayuk? What are your
Let's talk about Kittle and Ayuk.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Good combo here.
So we have a problem here. We have a problem in San Francisco. Why aren't they using Kittle? Like, why they paid him $75 million to not use him? I don't understand. You think that's what do you think about that? Do you think that's like an aberration, or do you think that's something?
Yes, it's 2 games. This is where I think, like, if nothing else, like, breathe,
so you buy low,
relax. Like, if
I'm a little worried,
Kittle, then yeah, of course. Look, the catches he has made, he looks good after the catch. He looks
problem is he's not running the route.
Really good after the catch,
but he's not running the routes. He's not running. I mean, he's blocking a lot. I think that's the problem. You know, the catches are great, but if you don't run a route, you can't catch the ball. That's part of an issue.
We've got 2 data points. One of them was a game against the Lions where they took their foot off the gas. I thought he looked great. He looked fine. Like especially.
No one's saying he looked. I don't think anyone's saying that this is a talent issue.
No, but like I don't.
Nobody's
think
saying
after
that.
2 games, a talent like Kittle. I just think that it's the same thing. You sell like a talent like Henry. You sell on him after 1 bad game, and look what happens in week 2. Like if this 2-game stretch for Kittle happened in November, we wouldn't be wanting to sell him.
You know, I understand that, but it does seem like their offense has come out with a different plan this year. So I'd like to see that plan change.
Well, there's a lot about their plans I would like to see change, specifically on, maybe their quarterback room
But
might be.
let me just say one more thing about Kittle.
Yeah.
I have not moved Kittle down in my rankings that much. So I don't know how many more games I'm willing to give Kittle. It's not like 10. It's like if it's like this for I mean, I would consider buying Kittle low now if someone's really panicked because I haven't moved him down that much. But if we get 1-2 more games of this, I'm gonna start to worry. We're not that far off from concerns. So, but with Kittle, I'm not overly concerned. I mean, look, who would you rather have right now? TJ Hawkinson or George Kittle?
Yeah. So this being a Dynasty show.
I mean, you said you didn't like TJ Hawkinson that much. He wasn't going to be very good, right?
No. That's totally not true.
That's what the media would want you to believe, right?
That's what the media would want you to believe. But don't listen to the lying media. I didn't know. It just up until so far he has not been on a year-long basis has not been a difference maker at the position. He's been top 5. That's not the same thing as he was 100 points less than Waller last year.
Oh, I agreed with you on that. I just thought he was the one who would make the jump.
He was 3 times closer to tight end 16 last year than he was to tight end 2.
Oh, I know. I just thought he was going to make a jump in year 3, and that's exactly what's happening.
Again, through 2 games. I still want Kittle over Hawkinson, though. Rest of the season, I still want Kittle.
At this point, I think in Dynasty, Hawkinson is worth more. So I think Hawkinson is worth more. So I would want Kittle plus if I were trading Hawkinson away. That's actually something I would consider trying to do. Like if I had Hawkinson and I could get like Kittle and like a piece I liked in a tight end premium, I would very much consider doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, my panic on Kittle, I would say, 1 to 10. If 10 is the most, it's like a 4.
Let me get a couple of comments in here, and then we got an IU question that we'll.
Ayuk, I have a whole different discussion.
PJ's here. Taco Tuesday. It's not just Tuesday, PJ. It's Taco Tuesday. That we already talked about that one. Swift is a baller. People need to chill out. Yeah, we definitely can overreact. Look, we play Dynasty because we think long term. We can't all of a sudden, because we have a couple data points, get short term in our thinking. Like,
don't include me in that. I'm not. I'm Mr. Overreaction.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think as a community, if we're gonna be Dynasty, let's have some. Not overreact to 1 week. And I think at this point, still with 2 weeks, I'm just not making drastic.
What is there to react to with Swift? He's been kind of what people expected.
I love Swift. I think there's a chance he ends up vaulting up pretty good. That offensive line is actually really good. Okay. Here's the question I was talking about. Jordan, he asked, what are we going to do? What are we doing with Ayuk? You have a lot to say here. I'm just going to say I'm still buying him. I have no problem with Ayuk. If people are selling, I'm buying him.
I'm fine buying him, but I'm not selling.
No,
I'd hold. There's no way I'm selling. I'm fine buying him, but it needs to come at a deep discount. In Dynasty, I have Deebo Samuel ranked above Brandon Ayuk already. I saw enough. 2 weeks was enough. 2 weeks was enough because it was enough to show me that Deebo's still really good.
I really like Deebo. I still will take Ayuk, but I do like Deebo. That's not a shot against Deebo.
I just think that it's going to take a lot from Ayuk to earn my trust back. So for now, it's going to be Deebo for me.
Yeah, I think we got a little carried away with some of the comments. I don't think it's much different from Saquon. Well, he's coming back from an injury. He's working himself back in.
Okay, but here's the thing, though.
I don't think we got really because Kyle Shanahan made some comments about it that we examined and a little bit too closely.
Not all
probably.
About the comments, though. I think that Ayuk's highest dynasty value ever has already happened. I think that's what it was on like August 20th. I think that was Ayuk's highest dynasty value that it will ever be. I don't think he's ever going to get back there because I think that people have realized now that on this team, which he's first round receiver, so it's going to be multiple years on this team. He's not going to be him being the clear one ever is out of the range of outcomes. So, at best, he's going to go back to kind of what we wanted, which is being like a significant part of the offense, but he's not going to be the top end of the range of outcomes, which would be necessary to rank him where he was ranked before. That being in the range of outcomes is gone. So when buying Ayuk, you have to realize what you're buying. You're buying a receiver who produced well as a rookie with first round pedigree with in my opinion, and I think is pretty clear now, a relatively capped ceiling. So, I like the talent. I like the player. I don't love the situation. And that's why he would have to come at a deep discount. And, I don't think I'm getting him at a deep discount. I mean, in a super flex league, I'm certainly not sending a first for Ayuk at this point. I mean, I
don't think you have to right now.
No, I don't think I have to. I mean, if I could get him for a second, I would do it.
I think if you go look at the I posted the thread asking for people to send me messages about like trades they saw for Ayuk, and in dynasty leagues, like what he was going for in dynasty leagues, it was I'm telling you, it was like Robbie Anderson and
I'd rather have Ayuk than Robbie Anderson.
And it was like people were trading Shenault for him. I'd still rather have Ayuk than Shenault.
I have bigger concerns about Shenault than I do about Ayuk.
Yeah,
if you can buy low, I would buy low, but it would need to be low. I mean, these prices you're quoting are like half of what his value was before. So if I can get him for half of what it was before, I'll take it.
Then it's great.
But I'm not rushing out to buy him. And I have moved him down my rankings. I mean, I have players. I mean, he started the season above like Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle and Debo and Cortland Sutton and Judy and even Rondale Moore. And now he's below all of those players. So he's in a lower range at this point. So, I need a discount if I'm going to buy him. And I don't even want to pay his current, where I currently have him ranked. I want a discount on top of that.
I think we had him a little bit. I 100% agree with you. I think we had him a little bit too high probably over the offseason. We got really excited about him jumping over that dude and scoring a touchdown and them showing that replay over and over and over again. So he was going too high in dynasty leagues, probably a little bit too much projection.
It was not someone I was that in on.
Well, especially considering the offense, right? Exactly the point that you made. Considering that offense, like we got to develop a new quarterback. It's going to take a little bit of time. There's no reason to think that he's going to be like all world now. But as far as a dynasty investment for a guy that's 23 years old, who, first round talent, you got a lot of pieces there that give you he's going to get a lot of opportunity. And just based on his quotes, like the way he is built, I don't think he's going to be discouraged by fighting for his position and fighting for his spot.
I don't think so.
I don't think he is. Okay. Carson ankles failed him. Okay, there we go.
This has just been every bit of the disaster that I expected.
Ed wants the Lamar side with him there. Super close. Yeah, I agree. Streak. Thank you for commenting. I don't think I've seen one of your comments in here before, so thank you for doing so. Any players I should try and get if I want to do a Corey Davis plus Robert Woods trade?
I think you're going to struggle to do that right now.
Packaging those guys together. Yeah, I think you're going to struggle trying to find the right deal that nets you anything of an upgrade.
Well, nobody wants Robert Woods right now. And Corey Davis, he's coming off like nothing game where Zach Wilson looked like straight trash. So
yeah,
this is not a good time
not
for this.
Not a good time to make this trade. This is what Belichick does this to rookie quarterbacks.
I might want to wait. I might want to wait, especially on Robert Woods, because Robert Woods, I think, is going to have better days. Robert Woods is going to have better days. There's just no way. I mean, a receiver as good as Robert Woods is gonna do better.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine.
So I would wait on Robert Woods.
But Stafford does love him some Cooper Kupp, man. That's
true, but I don't think that. look, there were some concerns about Robert Woods' role after week 1, but in week 2, he came out and played like over 90. It was like 95% of snaps. So there's no issue.
Yeah. This is exactly like if you were a rebuilding team with Cooper Kupp and you couldn't trade him over the offseason, this is what you needed.
Now's your chance. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what you needed right here. David, are we still on the Bryan Edwards bandwagon? Is he still T.O. and Randy Moss's baby?
Now's the time because he's had touchdowns called back by penalty in both games. Now's the time. I would go out and buy now. I mean, the Raiders are 2-0 after playing Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And he's actually looked pretty good. I mean, he's had he's had plenty of targets that were called back for penalties. He's in a decent role in the first game once they got him involved.
With like 45 seconds left in the game.
But yes, the answer to this question is yes. Because honestly, considering that he's exceeded my expectations for week 1 and 2, considering matchups. He's exceeded them. He's done better.
Can we dispel how ridiculous it was, the talk that he didn't need a preseason? Like, this dude needed a preseason. He needed to get out there and do something. Like,
I'm not really understanding.
Yeah. Well, that was part of it. Everybody was like, oh, he didn't need a preseason. He's clearly the locked-in starter. Like, no, he needed to get out there and
I still stand by my point that I don't want to see anyone play in the preseason ever. Any players. It's not worth the injury risk.
He did have 5.
I think they should get rid of I personally think they should get rid of the whole preseason. I think you should get rid of it. So you're not talking to the right person on this one. I think the NFL should just eliminate the preseason. So it definitely not pitching that case to the right person in this case.
Corey says got offered DeAndre Swift, Kyle Pitts, a 2022 second, 2022 third, Ryan Tannehill, Jonathan Taylor, and Evan Ingram.
This would be super flex, I guess. The
only way it makes sense is super flex. That's the only way it's close. If it's one QB, this isn't close.
I mean, can you afford to lose Tannehill? I mean, most super flex teams probably can't afford that.
No, I'm saying it like one QB, it's not close. I think it's with Pitt's side.
Well, what I mean is if you're a super flex team and you're trading Tannehill away, can you afford that?
Right.
On value alone, and also a tight end premium. If there's no premium, it's the Tannehill side.
I'm not trading Pitts right now. That just I'm not trading Pitts after 2 games.
If there's no premium, it's pretty easily the Tannehill side. But I don't.
We talked about this one. Skylar, Damian, Mad Scientist at Mad Scientist FF, I believe on Twitter. Who is the best trade high candidate in Dynasty right now? Who is way overperforming?
Deebo Samuel.
Ooh.
Like actually.
Ooh.
Deebo Samuel is a good trade high candidate because I don't believe that Deebo Samuel is going to establish himself as the clear number 1 weapon on the team either. So Deebo Samuel.
Rob Gronkowski.
Not a sell high because he's so old. He doesn't have any value anyway. He's one of those players that's so past the value peak that he provides more production value than he'll ever provide trade value. So he's just too old to even count. You'd have to get like something ridiculous for him to make it worth it. So that's hard. That's hard to do. I do think Deebo Samuel. Also, Courtland Sutton, if you can get something ridiculous for Courtland Sutton, I 100% believe that Jerry Jeudy is better. 100% still believe it. So if you can get the price as if Courtland Sutton is going to be the wide receiver 1 there long term, take it.
How about Dalvin Cook?
Injured. So forget it. You can't sell. People are worried. After he left, you just saw him leave the game 3 times. That's not going to work. You're not going to be able to sell him now.
That's what I'm worried about with him is.
But if you waited to sell Dalvin Cook, until now, you're probably not one of the listeners to this show because I've been begging you to do that for the last 3 months. You've had 3 months to sell Dalvin Cook high. So I said it a zillion times with Dalvin Cook and Alvin Kamara, and even Zeke to a lesser degree. It was like, you take him, if you're taking him into week 1, you're probably taking the rest of their career, whatever it is. And now that's what you're getting. You're getting the rest of his career, whatever it is, because now he's hurt, and now people are not going to claim off the game 3 times. I mean, good luck. So you're not going to sell him. So you're going to have to just deal with it now. And that's what it's going to be. So, if you didn't listen to me and like sell him high before, you're not going to be able to do that now. So just hang on to him, I would say. Sell high. I mean, there aren't a lot of good sell highs. I mean, Debo is kind of the best one. A lot of you have anyone like really in mind that's like a good sell high? Because a lot of the people who've done well are not players I really want to sell. Like, I don't want to sell Rondale Moore. I think he's still going up in value. Courtland Sutton and Debo Samuel are really the 2 names where it's like they had big games that I do not think are sustainable long term, that are in both cases the subject of what the better player having an issue.
Yeah. No, I think those are all really good names. I think we can move on here. We're about halfway through the show. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you go hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and leave us a comment. Let us know that you're in here, and we really appreciate those things. We'll try to motor through here and try to see if we can get through some of these. I've got Goff, Mac Jones, and the entire.
Oh, no, you can't trade Tannehill. I don't care what you're getting. You need to get like 100% overpay, because you're screwing your team if you trade Tannehill. So forget that. Tannehill. Yeah, forget that trade.
But if he's trading for Tannehill, do you like it? So he was trading Swift, Pitts, and 2 seconds, and he was getting Tannehill.
I mean, how much is the premium, if there's any?
Gets Jonathan Taylor.
It's fine. Value. I mean, look, if this is your QB room and you're trying to win, you're not going to win with that. So you're better off with side B if you're trying to win than side A.
We talked about Ayuk. Yeah, Gallup in a 2022 first for Cup in a 1 QB league. What do you think?
I mean, that's probably what you have to pay, right?
If you
not the kind of trade I'll ever do.
Yeah, I'm never going to pay this for Cup. But if you've got him and you think there's a chance that you've got enough wide receiver depth to cover it, or you think you're not competing, like you might not ever get a better chance. He is 28 years old.
28, June 15th, 1993.
Yeah, he looks good. I'm not going to obviously his production's there.
Yeah, the question is this the reality, or is it going to be more close? I lean toward the latter.
Yep. Ed bought Ayuk. PJ says fade all Saints. Outside of Kamara, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not worried about Kamara.
Local liability, get better. I'm glad. Get your chicken noodle soup. I hope you're doing well. Non-competing team. What would we trade away Mike Williams for before he gets injured again?
Don't put that evil on him.
No. Is he Michael Thomas? There was talk about him being in the Michael Thomas.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that.
Targets. He's got more targets than Keenan Allen right now.
I mean, yeah, you could trade Mike Williams away, but what are you going to get that's going to be worth it?
Yeah. I have to see what kind of trades are out there, because I just think he's one of those players that he's disappointed people so much. People are expecting the bottom to fall out if they don't already roster him. Usually the people who like him the most in your league already have him.
Yeah, they bought when he was worth nothing all off season. So, right. But what are you going to trade him away for? A second is not enough.
Right. If there were doubters
of him, maybe even not enough.
I'm not sure he's done enough.
And nobody's giving you a first.
I don't think so.
So
he's just get it. Yeah.
He's just burned people too many times. No, but I don't think anyone is giving you a first. So he's someone I would find difficult to trade away, but you could try it. I would target. I mean, my target would be a young player who's disappointed. Like, if you could turn Mike Williams into Elijah Moore, I probably still would. Definitely still would. You turn Mike Williams even better. You know, Mike Williams is Brandon Ayuk. I would love to do that. So yeah, probably not trading for picks. You're probably trading for a young wide receiver who's disappointed. Ayuk is maybe the best target actually of all.
Gibson isn't in the goal line and gets yanked. Now
he didn't get one goal line carry, and now he's not getting the goal line. That's what I was
going to say. That's why, like, seriously, and look, I know Ed doesn't do this, so I feel comfortable having his comment up when I say this. I know this isn't true of Ed. You cannot overreact to just the highlights you see on the Red Zone channel. That is not.
It's not all about that.
That was on a no, I'm saying, like, but people do. People take that kind of thing and like spread it over the whole thing. And I know Ed's not doing that. I know you're not doing that. But like, I like the first game, McKissick was barely on the field. Like there were two different game plans, two different things. We got 2 data points. And the thing is, they're different at this point enough that, like, we don't know. Like, we're projecting, but we can't, like, whatever happened most recently isn't the most true. Let's see what they continue to do.
Everything is literally fine. There's totally no concerns. There's only concerns if your expectations were ridiculous to begin with. If your expectations were like mine, there are no concerns.
PJ, don't panic on Gibson. McKissick was very involved last year. I agree.
He was not involved in game 1 at all.
He was involved last year, you're saying?
No, but that's what I'm saying. I think he's going to be less involved this year. I mean, he wasn't involved in game 1 and he was involved in game 2. So he's involved half the time. That's different than being involved all the time. So that's a difference. So, you know, it's something that there could be a little bit more of a ceiling for Gibson than there was last year. But, you know, not to the level of being a 3-down back every single game in every single situation. Like I said, that was ridiculous to expect.
As you can tell, at YZR_fantasy is really smart. I don't even know what CPOE is.
Completion percentage over expected.
Okay, there you go. Situation regression should hit eventually. Chubb and Hunt will stay. I think this is true. But I think you're looking at, like, Kirk Cousins. Like, he better have a really good year to finish as a QB1. Like,
disagree.
Really efficient. I don't think Baker is. We're not going to view him as a top 8 guy in fantasy going into a season.
Completely. I agree with you and completely disagree with this comment entirely. No, Baker is not. He doesn't run. He doesn't run at all, which means his ceiling is QB8 or QB9.
Yeah.
And if it's not, he needs to score like 45 touchdowns. And I'm sorry, I just don't. I've seen enough from Baker to know that's not him. So, no.
Kevin talking about scooping up Lamar. Remember, Lamar's going to get Rashad Bateman back. Like, he's going to.
We can talk about Rashad Bateman. We need to talk about Rashad Bateman because we have a problem there.
Okay, do it.
We have a problem.
All right.
Well, there's a problem because Marquise Brown looks good. And there is not room in this offense. This offense is a problem. If Marquise Brown is good, that means Rashad Bateman won't be. There's just no way that they're both going to succeed. It isn't possible. With Mark Andrews, there's no way that Lamar's passing offense is going to support Andrews, Bateman, and Brown. So something's going to have to give here. And I am seriously concerned about Rashad Bateman because is he better than Marquise Brown? You sure? Marquise Brown's last 11 games, he's been like on a wide receiver 1 pace.
Mm-hmm.
He's been scoring touchdowns, having receptions, having a big role consistently. So Rashad Bateman, remember how I said Rashad Bateman's ceiling was low and all it took was one little thing to really kill him? This is it. So I'm very concerned about Rashad Bateman. If Marquise Brown is this good, Rashad Bateman's ceiling is like wide receiver 30. So very, very concerned.
I'm not ready to have his funeral. I don't think you are either. I'm not ready to have his funeral, but like in terms of him like being this top 24 guy, that is going to be tough if Marquise Brown can sustain this.
Well, I mean, if Marquise Brown stays healthy and plays like this, Rashad Bateman will be useless. Useless. I mean, there's just no way that Marquise Brown was a first-round wide receiver himself, right? And he's had flashes in this year and at the end of last year and now this year. So it started at the end of last year. I just thought that was an aberration. You know, the year and a half was the real thing. And the last 6 games was whatever, 6-7 games was bullshit. But now we have a problem, because now in the first 2 games, he looks like he did in the last 6. And what if that's the real thing? And if that's the real Hollywood Brown, then where's that leave Rashad Bateman as a back end wide receiver 3 to 4 most weeks? I mean, that's totally unusable. So I have serious concerns. I've risen. I mean, there's no way not to raise Marquise Brown in your dynasty rankings. When players look good, you have to take it seriously, especially when it's building on something good they did last year.
I do think it means good things for Lamar, which is what Kevin's saying.
I totally agree with that. Yeah. I totally agree with that. And Lamar is not far away from. So after a couple of weeks, I have Mahomes still at dynasty quarterback 1, Kyler as the clear 2, and Allen at 3. But Lamar is challenging Allen for 3. Yeah. And he's distanced himself from Dak at 5 and Herbert at 6. So he's challenging for number 3 overall. But yeah, I mean, Hollywood, 6 receptions each game. He had 6 targets in the first, 10 targets in the second. And then last year, I mean, if you look at it, when he down the stretch after he complained, there was a game where he complained and whined about his role. After that game, he in the final 6, like I said, he averaged 6.8 targets a game, 4.3 receptions, 56 yards, and he had 6 touchdowns in those 6 games. Is that the greatest season ever? No, but if he has 69 receptions for 901 over a full season, that leaves Rashad, which was his full season pace, that relieves Rashad Bateman as useless. So we have an issue.
PJ wants to know if I'm getting thirsty. We talked about it last time. I do have a bet with PJ going on who's going to lead the Ravens in running back carries before the bye. I'm not getting thirsty yet. We'll see. 1T Brett, open 24 hours. Is this the same open 24 hours guy? Change his name if so. If Cordell Patterson is wide receiver running back eligible on Sleeper, how much does that increase his value?
A little, but I don't trust him, but a little.
The rare 30-year-old running back breakout.
Most leagues,
genius. Can I just say this is genius? Like, I love that he is getting run as a running back. Like, the criticism for him as a wide receiver was route running. Well, guess what? You don't have to do if they just turn around and hand you the ball. You don't have to run routes. Like, just make plays, and he's doing that. I love this.
He finally found a team that has no cap space and had a terrible situation that was unable to pursue any legitimate replacement.
I think it was good.
They have no choice. Oh, they also brought John Brown in for a visit. So that shows you what they think of Russell Gage.
Ooh, yeah. Gosh.
It's not good.
Let's see. Let's go. Zach, 1QB, Dynasty League, trade Lawrence, Gibson, and Dobbins. 2022 second. 4. Mahomes and David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, 2022 third.
I don't understand this trade.
Okay.
It's the Gibson side by a lot.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Lawrence and Gibson, Dobbins, 2022 second.
Yeah. It's the Gibson side by a lot.
Oh, 1QB league. I missed that.
Yeah, 1QB. So it's the Gibson side by a lot.
Yes. 1QB league. Yes. Yeah. There might be a Bears fan here involved in this trade. I do see a super chat is in. Thank you for the super chat. You want to go ahead and pull that up? Yeah. Here we go. Adam, which side in a Dynasty PPR, 1QB, Hollywood, and a 2022 second and 2023 second for Ayuk?
That's not low enough.
I would absolutely take Ayuk for this.
Not low enough. Oh, no. Not for me. Not after what I've seen. I mean, I'm going to give 2 seconds and a player who's done really well for buying low on Ayuk, maybe coming. No, absolutely not. I would take the other side easily. If you take one of the seconds off, and I'm thinking about it, with 2 is easily that side.
I just still think we're going to look back, and this is going to be the moment where you should have bought Ayuk.
Completely disagree. I think we look back on this and we're like, yeah, this is the moment where we realize that Ayuk is never really going to be an alpha and he's just going to be a decent player. That's what I think we look back on this moment as, not anything like what you're saying. So
I'm not on that at all. I think Kyle Shanahan wants him to be, and he wants to be. I think he's going to be.
Completely disagree. I think Kyle Shanahan wants him to be a part of the offense, but not what we wanted. So I mean, like I said, I think Ayuk's never getting back to what his value was before ever. So I want the other side. I'm in on Hollywood. I've really liked what I've seen. He looks like he's evolved as a player. He looks better. Hollywood's not that old.
No, third year. This is good timing for him, no doubt. But in your mind, we're going to be taking Hollywood and Ayuk how far apart in startups next year?
If you told me that we were taking Hollywood ahead of Ayuk next year, I would believe you. It's not out of the range of outcomes at all. Not out of the range of outcomes at all. Who's looked better this year? Hollywood was good down the stretch last year. It's completely in the range of outcomes.
I just don't think we're going to remember it. It's not.
I really like what Hollywood's done. And remember, as much as we complain about Jimmy Garoppolo. What is Trey Lance? What does he do? Run a lot. What does that mean? Low volume passing offense. We always say, we want them to switch to Trey Lance. We want them to switch to Trey Lance. I think it's going to be great for Trey Lance and great for the running backs because they don't throw to the running backs anyway. So the running backs are going to get more efficiency in the running game, and they don't throw to them anyway. They're not a big throw to the running back team. So they're not losing receptions that they're not getting. But yeah, I don't think going to Trey Lance is going to unlock extra statistics for the receivers.
But see, I don't know. Is he going to pass less than they were asking Jimmy Garoppolo to pass? I mean, it's not like they.
No, the reason I like Trey Lance is because I think he can offer exactly what Jimmy Garoppolo offers as a passer, plus all of the rushing. That's why I like Trey Lance. That's why if he does that, he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. That's why I'm so in on Trey Lance. But I'm so in on Trey Lance for Trey Lance. I'm not so in on Trey Lance that it's going to make Ayuk and Debo and Kittle the best receiving options in the world. I'm really in on Lamar. And I like what Hollywood's doing. But Andrews, for example, has frustrated me this season because in an offense like that, the volume is low. And, in this case, Hollywood's success has come at Andrews' expense because there's just not enough to go around. And that's why I'm so concerned about Bateman, too. So, I think Trey Lance could deliver a lot of the same. And that's great for Trey Lance. But I don't see Trey Lance as an upgrade for Ayuk, Kittle, and Debo. I see it as an upgrade for the team. I see it as an upgrade for the quarterback position and for the running game, but not for the receivers, really.
Let's move on to the Smithuation. Okay. Dynasty 10 team, Superflex PPR trade. Give up Hurts, Zeke, and Pollard for Jonathan Taylor, Chase Edmonds, and a first.
Okay. So to me, Edmonds and Pollard have similar value. I like Pollard more long term, but Edmonds is worth a lot more this year. So they're similar. So it's really Taylor and a first for Hurts and Zeke. Oh, I really would like to get out of Zeke. And then, Taylor and a first for Hurts and Zeke. Just looking at how I rank guys in startups, Taylor and a first is worth a lot more than Hurts and Zeke. So with the quarterbacks you have, you can afford this. So, and I really want to get out of Zeke. So, yeah, I'd probably. Oh, it's also a 10-team super flex. So that devalues quarterback even more because the scarcity's not there, and you're set. You're not set, but you have Tannehill and Mayfield long-term starters. Yeah. You have Rodgers, who's got a couple years left. You have Brady, who probably has 2 years left. So you don't have a quarterback issue. So yeah, I'm going to take Taylor's side. I'd like to get 22 first.
I'll take the 2022 one. Absolutely, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Adam says, Cal and Carb the homies. What's up, Adam? Appreciate your comments in here every week. Ed Baker was lights out year one. Yeah, I saw that he finished
it's not fantasy lights out. He was real life lights out. He was real life lights out. That's what I was saying. He performed well as a real life quarterback year one. He wasn't the best fantasy quarterback.
Was it 2018? Is that what it was?
2018. Yeah, he was good. I mean, he was good for a rookie. He played well. He's one of the better rookie performers, at that point. And then Justin Herbert came in and just like obliterated that, the expectations. Baker was much better as rookie than Josh Allen was as rookie.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I mean, Josh Allen was garbage as rookie.
Henry, how'd you forget about the show? See, this is why you need notifications on, Henry. And be like Henry, because he's going to turn notifications on, and you should too, so you never miss out. Mad Scientist back at it again. Damian Scott, Eagles have every reason to move away from Hurts come next season, unless Hurts has a flawless season, which is unlikely. I think this is possible, but again, I don't think it means he's like never going to have an opportunity again. He's
right, but then he won't carry the value he has now. Like, I just think people need to realize that Hurts is risky, and he is. I mean, I just think that the odds are against Hurts becoming a franchise quarterback. I would bet on no. If I had to pick yes or no, I would bet on no. Still, I would bet on no.
All right. Okay. For the rest of eternity, who has more QB1 finishes week to week for the rest of eternity? Jalen Hurts or Tua Tagovailoa?
Well, I have Tua ranked at quarterback 20. So you want to talk about someone that I think is just finished? Do you want to talk about someone I have nothing good to say? I've actually risen. Hurts has risen in my rankings. Other quarterbacks have risen too. But, one of the people he passed was Tua, who has fallen about 15 spots in my rankings. He looked like garbage in week 1. And now another injury. It's too many injuries. It's too many injuries, too many strikes. He had so many strikes at quarterback 20. I'm finished. I'm done with him. He's not it. He's not it. We're not getting the old Tua back. He's just someone no, thank you. So he can go. You're right. I don't think Tua quarterback 1 games from Tua. I'd take 2 this year. We could have 2 all season. That would be an accomplishment. But no. Tua is someone Deshaun Watson is going to be the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins for 2022. That's what's going to happen. That's the reality of the situation.
30 minutes, and we got to try and hurry up and get through here. Okay. Rye OJ Howard, 2022 third, 2022 fourth, 23 fourth for Henry Ruggs in a Dynasty league.
There's 4 pieces of crap for something that might work out. So
give me Ruggs.
Yeah, Henry Ruggs. I mean, this is a bunch of trash. So maybe, Henry Ruggs had a good game this week. So maybe he starts putting some good games together. His first round capital. If it doesn't work out, it's a bunch of garbage. So sure.
Right. I would offer more than that. I feel like that's a low offer.
Yeah, that offer is not
what to offer.
But I also don't want to buy Henry Ruggs. So just send that offer and it gets rejected. Just move on to another player.
Hawk, yeah, I would like to also just say that last year, Jonnu Smith was the number 1 tight end after 2 weeks.
The people who were here for the other shows, they know what the conversation was.
He finished as the tight end 16. I'm just saying,
I don't like Jonnu Smith. We know that.
Let's see. It was Jonnu, Noah Fant, Tyler Higbee, Travis Kelce, Mike Gesicki. That was your top 5 in tight ends last year at this time.
I just like that the targets are there.
Good thing we didn't overreact and go buy Jonnu for
because the targets and the receptions weren't there. That's the difference. Targets and receptions are sticky and touchdowns aren't. So we all know that.
Best dudes, best show. This is the best chat room right here. That's 100%.
Yeah, I've definitely been on the spicier side today. But
let's see. Patrick, what's Elaire worth right now? We talked to him a little bit. Owner asked for Pitts and a second. No.
What?
We're not trading Pitts in a second for Elaire at this point. I'm not there. I made an offer. It was rejected. I made an offer of Michael Carter and Robbie Anderson for him. I thought I might have a chance. It was rejected. Maybe another week and I get that accepted.
I don't want. I'm not paying this. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a bust. It's very simple. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a bust. It happened. Busts happen. I've defended the process of taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire high in rookie drafts a zillion times. I'd probably do it again. If I could go like process wise, I'd probably do it again. I don't think that the right lesson to learn is that fading the first running back taken, who I thought was talented pre-draft, who went to the best offense. I don't think that's the right lesson to learn, is that was a bad idea. Busts happen. It's not like I didn't like him coming into the NFL. I really did. I do not understand why the player that I really liked in college has not translated, but it's been enough time. It's been enough time. And I think it's safe to say that it's not happening. It's not happening. It's not going to happen. So I'm okay with just accepting that he's a bust and moving on.
Adam says, do you guys have any good Twitter follows for tracking college prospects and Devi? Yes, but
there's a lot of them.
There's so many. Hit us. Send me a DM, Adam. I might. I'll have to think through that a little bit, and I can.
I mean, we do that at DLF, right? I mean, we have Devi rankings. We have Devi rankings as part of our site, so that's something. That's something you could, it's not Twitter follows, but that's something that would be good. I mean, we have Devi articles, we have Devi content, and then you could see who's writing it, and then if you just go follow them. I mean, so we have plenty of that. So that would be my first suggestion, is just look at our site and see who our Devi rankers are, and follow who makes you happy.
David wants to know if you'd rather have Jonathan Taylor or Lamb and a first.
Lamb and a first. Lamb and a first. CeeDee Lamb has looked so good in the first 2 weeks. I mean, yeah, he had a couple of drops in week 1. Whoa, I'm so sorry. A couple of drops. He's not good anymore, right? In week 2, he comes out, he dominates. Yeah, Ray GQ is
this is a great one. Yeah,
he's great.
This
great
is the first one we should have thought of, no doubt.
Well, let's go back to that Lamb. Okay. Yeah, it's CeeDee Lamb and a first. I mean, I like Jonathan Taylor, but the difference between him and Lamb is not a first. Maybe like a third at most.
No, Mike, we're not dropping Ayuk.
This has got to be redraft. That's the only explanation for why we'd be dropping Ayuk.
Davis Webb? Mike
He's
Davis?
talking about Corey Davis.
Corey Davis?
In redraft, give me Corey Davis. In redraft, Corey Davis should not be on any redraft. Why is Corey Davis on the redraft waiver wire? Corey Davis is the clear number 1 weapon for a team.
You probably have somebody worse to drop, Mike.
You probably do, but just to answer the question, between those two in redraft, give me Corey Davis, and it's not close.
Yeah. You're not starting Ayuk yet.
I'm going to need multiple weeks from Ayuk to trust him again. I'm going to need to see. I need 2. Multiple being more than 1. 1 is not enough. I need multiple being 2 or more from Ayuk.
We react so quickly. It took 1 week for us to
No, it's been 2 weeks of failure. So 2 weeks of failure should be canceled out by
funeral last week.
That's how it should be.
Him last week.
No. Every week of failure needs to be canceled out by an equivalent number of weeks of success. So now we have 2 weeks of failure. So I'll need 2 weeks of success to trust him again. Another week of failure will be another week that I need.
Tara chiming in. This is referring to, so on Wednesday nights, I do a show with Tara over at the Dynasty Vipers. And I made a bold prediction that Kadarius Toney was going to pass me in receiving yards.
And you were wrong.
And I was wrong. I don't know how I got that. I was trying to go for a layup, and
you were wrong.
Missed it. So yes, I am still wide receiver 1 between me and Kadarius Toney. Local liability, David, if his dynasty takes CD in the first, no doubt. I think if it includes a first, that probably tells me it's dynasty.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Corey Davis. Lamb and first. Get that. 2QB League, Drizzy Jake. 2QB League, I have Josh Allen already. I have Devontae Adams and Terry as my wide receiver 1 and 2. The trade is I received Diggs, Jacoby Myers, Tony Pollard, Baker, Corey Davis, for Russell Wilson and Terry. No, give me Russell and Terry.
That's interesting.
In a 2QB league?
It's interesting. I mean,
it's a downgrade from Russ to Baker.
Yeah, but McLaurin to Diggs is a decent size. It's not actually that big of an upgrade. I mean, it is an upgrade. Baker, I really like, though. I mean, to me in a super flex, actually, Baker. I mean, it's actually tough. It's tough. I would say if it were just Baker and Diggs for Wilson and Terry, that wouldn't be enough. But with the other stuff, I mean, I like Pollard. I like what Corey Davis has done. And Jacoby Myers is not really worth much. Honestly, this trade is pretty fair. I'd probably lean. I'm not a big fan of Russell Wilson long term, actually, and Terry McLaurin's not that young. I'd actually probably lean toward the 5-player side.
Ed adds in that Parker James FF is a good dynasty follow. Comes out with nice player reviews before rookie drafts. Let's see. Yeah, Lamb top 5 wide receiver. This is what I love about the chat room, is that even if we're not able to get to some of these, the chat is able to do it. And Ed's a really smart guy. If Ed gives you advice, it's usually pretty good.
Well,
he's been trained well by.
Yeah, that's true. I have Lamb at wide receiver 5.
AJ wants to know Corey Davis and Robert Woods for Cortland Sutton.
That feels like a lot.
It does feel like a lot.
I'd probably still rather have Davis and Woods.
Oh, or Judy.
Then I'd rather have Judy.
Yeah. Look at Brian Edwards' snap counts last 2 weeks versus others. Yeah, really cool. Really cool.
Look, he's done better than what I expected him to do the first 2 weeks, so I'm pretty happy with that.
1 QB dynasty, Sin Watson for Lance plus a second.
Oh yeah.
I'm definitely taking this. If I
definitely
get a
taking Lance
quarterback like Lance, easy.
Yeah, 100%.
Jordan wants to know if we would trade David Montgomery and TJ Hawkinson for Debo Andrews and T. Higgins. Interesting deal. What do you think?
Man. It really helps when I get formats on these things.
Yeah, me too.
Especially this one, I need to know how big the premium is. If there's no premium, then I'll probably take the Andrews side. But if there is a heavy premium, that just makes me like Hawk more and Andrews less, because Andrews is not really a volume guy and Hawk is. So if the premium is heavy, I'd probably go the other direction. So that's going to depend on what kind of premium there is here.
Yeah, I'm loving David Montgomery right now. I think he's good. But
I love what I've seen from Higgins. I love what I've seen from Higgins. I mean, Debo, I did say it was a sell high, but unless there's a tight end premium, the value's not there. The thing is, in a tight end premium, Hawk could be like a big difference maker. Like if it's a 1.75 tight end premium, you could flex Hawk.
PJ, yes. Alexander Madison needs to be on.
Well, I mean, Cook left the game 3 times. So what if he leaves the game next week and doesn't come back?
17-game season. Cook's
never played a full 16.
He'll play hurt. He's tough. Like the last couple of years, he's been tough. But
if you have a sprained MCL, you can't play through that. So
and the fact that we already have
3 times coming off the field. I mean, he should. Madison should be picked up.
Appreciate you, Mad Scientist. Thank
you.
We
appreciate you.
Yep. Luke Jukum, would you buy high on an elite running back like Henry or Jones to solidify a run at a championship before a losing team sells them to someone else? What's the highest ranked wide receiver you give up for them? Good exercise.
Okay. If you're gonna buy them, you had your chance. You're asking me now? You want to buy them now? You want to buy Derrick Henry, who just had 50 PPR points, or Aaron Jones who scored 4 touchdowns? You want to buy them now? You think you're going to be able to buy them now? No, you can't buy them now. I mean, you're going to pay crazy price. So, I mean, you could if you want to, but
would you trade?
My answer to this question is no. It's generally going to be no.
Would you trade T. Higgins for either one of them?
Well, that's pretty cheap, actually. Because T. Higgins is, I'd trade T. Higgins for either one. That's not that expensive, but that's not going to happen. That's not realistic.
Chris Godwin.
I think I'd trade Chris Godwin for Henry, but not Jones.
DJ Moore.
Same thing for Henry, but not Jones. I'm more confident in Henry.
So if you're making this deal, you're making it because you're trying to like. This is the kind of move I'm totally fine with. If you got a bunch of wide receiver depth because you've been like just accumulating value, and you want to add in a running back like Henry or Jones because that's going to solidify the last piece of your rebuild to bring you a championship, then great. Like if you've got Lamb and
timing though,
Lamb and AJ Brown and DK and T Higgins, and you can take T Higgins and whatever Michael Carter and flip him into Henry, do that.
Timing, buy low. You have confidence in these players. Like it, you know, you don't buy them after they put up 49 points. Like you had your.
But also, the losing team should have already sold them by now. So I think both things are happening at the same time. You know, and if I'm the losing team and I'm still getting Henry and I just got a blow up game and I probably won my matchup that I wanted to lose because I'm rebuilding. I want him.
Actually, I'd rather buy than these two. If I need a running back who's going to produce because I can get him a lot cheaper, I buy Zeke. I'd rather buy Zeke. Zeke, I'd rather just, I mean, especially versus Jones, I don't want, like, period. Zeke.
You might get Zeke for, like, Juju.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I'd rather pay, like, half the price and get Zeke than pay up for either of these two. Especially Jones, I don't want to pay for. Jones, I don't want to pay for at all. Jones has games like this, but Jones also has games with 5 carries and 9 yards and just nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Henry doesn't have that. Henry has games where a bad game for Henry is like 17 for 55.
But I brought it up last week. He was more involved in the passing game the first week than he'd ever been. It continued on to week 2. That's a pattern. That's one of those patterns
that's why I'm saying I'd be willing to buy Henry, but not Jones. Like Henry, we know Henry is a league winner a lot of the time, whereas Jones, I feel like more has 3 or 4 really great games this season and is extremely inconsistent. So I'd much rather buy Henry.
Rondell Moore or Robbie Anderson in a second.
This is stupid. This is Rondell Moore.
You're not getting more for this. You're not getting more.
Go buy. Yeah. Go buy him before the price gets higher. Come on. You know this.
Jerry Jeudy in a third for Jacobs in a 1 QB league.
Oh, take Jerry Jeudy in a third and just get Josh Jacobs. I'm done. I'm done. I don't want plotters who are inefficient, don't get passing game work, and are always hurt and are not very good anyway. Just all of those things are like just on an offense that's. I guess the Raiders have been better than expected, but it's not like he's on the Chiefs. Like just no in every way to Jacobs. He's someone I won't accept having on my team. So as soon as I have a reason and a way to get rid of him, I will do that. Oh, and here I will pull this up because it says.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It compliments me. Truly, look at Brian Edwards snap counts. Vax Tyler. Well, I will have some news for you, AJ. Every week, I go and look at the snap counts for every player from every game and update my dynasty rankings based on both that and the box score, and also like what I saw on Sunday. So between those 3 things is what and then the stuff on Twitter, analytics, that kind of stuff. But I look at the snap counts from every game. So I have looked at them. But I really do that. I really do. I go through every single box score for every single game and every single set of snap counts for every single game when I'm updating my dynasty rankings. So, and I do it team by team, 1 team at a time. So, I hope people know that I don't just show up and have like, oh, I think this and this. And no, like it takes hours to do that. So there's a good amount of preparation involved in a lot of this stuff. And the same goes for my articles. I wouldn't be able to write them if I didn't do all that stuff, especially in season. It's a lot more work.
So is this saying that like it is a good thing?
He's saying the snap counts were high is what he's saying.
Okay. He has 104. He has the same amount of snaps as Khalif Raymond.
No. It's like the snap counts were fine. I mean, they have him as a starter. It's not the snap counts that make me happy. I mean, he produced something relevant and looked good against tough defenses. So I was happy with what I saw. Not the snap counts in this case.
Man, I just don't get it.
I mean, they cut John Brown. Obviously, they want him as starter.
Yeah.
All right, go back to where you were.
But like Deontay, or let's say Debo has 20 targets on way less snaps.
Well, remember that they pulled their starters. They pulled their starters in the first game.
8 targets.
He's got
3 less targets than McCole Hardman.
Yeah, I'm really not worried about Bryan Edwards.
I just don't get why we love him. But
talent, looked good on the looks he had. That's really why.
Yeah, thank you, Fantasy Condo. Appreciate you tuning in. We're gonna have to try to go like super fast here. Okay, Chris Carson or DJ Moore in the flex position, full PPR.
Oh, is this like a weekly question? I mean,
hit us up on Twitter.
Yeah. For this week, DJ Moore plays Houston, so I think it's gonna be DJ Moore.
Ed's right. We don't want to underreact, but 2 games. What is DJ Moore worth in Dynasty Superflex leagues? Trying to wait for a down week to buy.
You probably won't be able to buy DJ Moore. He's worth.
I think he looks great, and you know what? Like, he's good. He's good. I think if you want to go get him, because I really think
he's going to
have a good year.
Firsts.
Sam Darnold looks good, dude. He looks good.
Right, but you're not paying 2 firsts for DJ Moore.
No.
And 1 first isn't getting it done. So it's probably going to be a first and a player then.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think a first and a second gets it done. Honestly.
That might.
Not for most people, I don't think. Not for most people who've had DJ Moore and have held him and have waited and have been excited. I don't think first and a second, even in Superflex, gets it done.
Adam says,
probably wouldn't even accept that.
Which side in Dynasty PPR? 1 QB Hollywood plus
we did this already.
Oh, okay. Yes, Cat Zero.
We talked a lot about CEH.
Tyler has already had a funeral for him. I'm not so sure. It's 2 weeks. Let's see how he bounces back. First round pick. Andy Reid's not going to give up that quickly.
Josh Jacobs was a first round pick too.
Josh Jacobs is still holding a lot of value.
But I think CEH is closer in value to that than where he was before.
Good point from PJ here. Yeah, to be clear, be sending Ayuk in the deal.
I would do it then.
Not me.
I also know what it. I also am. I would take. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Todd, do this.
Yeah, I would do that. I don't want Rux.
He's not Dante Pettis. Get out of here. He is not Dante Pettis. This is why we can buy him. This is why it's. This is.
No, I would just tell you, if Ayuk weren't a first round pick, he would be 30 spots lower in my dynasty rankings. I would just bury him.
Oh my God.
But the fact that he's a first round pick is going to save him.
Ed Smart. Luke Jukum, Sammy Watkins has 15 targets through 2 games. Don't do it. Never Sammy.
No, that's not what he's saying, though.
Okay. If Bateman doesn't outplay Watkins, we okay. So he's saying like the fact that he's got those targets says that maybe Bateman could have some value. He could.
Not good enough.
We talked about him a lot already. Oh shoot, this happens every now and then. It loses.
Also, remember that the Ravens are not going to be playing Kansas City every week. So, what if the Ravens are in a positive script? We haven't seen the Ravens in a positive game script in either of the 2 contests, but they're a pretty good team. They could be in a bunch of positive scripts, and if they're in a positive script, there's not going to be room for 3 pass catchers. There's just not. 2 would be amazing. There's not even really room for 2.
I'll get to as many of these as we can. How long until Javonte completely takes over in Denver?
Completely? I would say probably around week 10, but Javonte's already been in an even-ish split.
I think what you're seeing now is probably what I expect for the rest of the year. I just don't think we're going to a place where these new running backs are going to get full.
No, you saw it last year. You saw it last year. It was around the same time for a lot of these guys. J.K. Dobbins, it was week 10. Cam Akers, it was week 12 or 13.
But he's already there. He's already getting those touches. He's already getting
no. But that's when those guys became the top, the clear top, and everyone else was just a backup. So I would say Javonte's on the same path. I would say week 10 or so. when Melvin Gordon starts to run out of gas, kind of like how Mark Ingram ran out of gas last year.
Henry sold Jonnu for a first and a second. That's a great deal. Good job, Henry.
Yeah, that's.
Ed says if only KC drafted JT. I honestly think we would be viewing JT less if he was on. Like, I think
no way.
Having Pat Mahomes that you can hand the ball, that you like keep the ball in his hands, is a good thing.
No, the problem is that CEH, when every team still needs to run, the issue is that CEH isn't really providing anything extra in the passing game. And that's his base and his skill set. JT would fix their goal line problem immediately. So I think JT would be the 101 if Kansas City had picked him.
Rendon dropped Fuller for Rondale.
These are redraft questions. For Rondale Moore, yes. Tony Pollard. There's got to be some.
Yes.
I don't want to drop Fuller though. I think Fuller's going to come in and be the 1B to Waddle's 1A.
Jeremy was offered Quiz Watkins for Callaway.
I don't really want Quiz Watkins. These are whatever. I'd rather have Callaway, but
hang on. You're not starting either one of these guys right now.
I don't want Quiz Watkins. I mean,
yeah.
Quiz Watkins is the third receiver there. It's pretty clear. So he had one big play. But.
Would you trade Deontay Johnson for Allen Robinson?
I have Allen Robinson ranked higher, but I don't know. Deontay Johnson also, we don't know. We still don't know how long he's going to be out. Could be a while.
Did I win the trade? Ask Aiden. Shepard, Amari, and Jonnu for Kittle and Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson? I mean, it can't be Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, you definitely won the trade.
Yeah.
That is
that Justin Jefferson? I mean, I don't. Is there another Jefferson that it could be?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Is Trey Sermon completely toast? No.
No, but he's not completely toast. But
it's not a good start.
Look, if you want to see what Trey Sermon's ceiling is now, it's Rojo's career. That's the best case scenario.
I'm not there yet.
No, that's his upside. That's the best case scenario. Nah. That's the best case is Rojo's career. Which is fine. That's the best case scenario. I don't know what the worst case is. But that's the best case scenario. Is Rojo was very similar. He was inactive for his first couple of games, no playing time at all, really, as a rookie. And then he comes out and he has a career that's okay. So I wouldn't be like dropping Trey Sermon in Dynasty, but not too excited.
Mike Washington, what's up, guys? Late jumping on. Appreciate seeing you in here, Mike. Always checking in from Facebook. Appreciate that. We haven't really talked much about
we haven't talked about Tyson Williams at all.
In short, I don't think he's done enough to get enough work to be super fantasy relevant.
That's not the question, though. The question is, has he done enough to, lock his spot as the back to Baltimore owner, the lead back? And I think the answer to that question is yes. But I have zero. Tyson Williams is not a dynasty asset to me. J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards are going to walk right back in, and they're going to be the 1 and 2 next year. Tyson Williams is a jag.
100% should have sold. Just got a super chat. Will you go ahead and pull that up?
Oh, well, I said to sell him as well. I was right there with you. Okay, these are snap. Yeah, I mean, okay, those are snap counts are promising. I was happy with what he did, but I didn't really raise him much in my rankings. I'd like to see him produce. Yeah, there are penalties, but those are excuses. So at some point after a bunch more weeks, it's going to be time for fantasy points. And if I don't see fantasy points, I'm going to be tired of excuses. So, he's someone that I'm watching very closely to see what he produces over the next 3-4 games as he gets some easier matchups. If he can't capitalize on them, then, it's going to be time for him to drop in my dynasty rankings. I don't have infinite patience with third round picks. They don't get a zillion chances.
I also think this is a really good place to say, I do not think that snap counts are predictive of fantasy success. Go look at Damiere Byrd last year. Go look at Jalen Guyton last year. Like being on the
predictive for younger players. They're a sign that the younger player is going to get more involved. That's what
Jalen Guyton was in his second year last year and saw the most snaps of any wide receiver in Los Angeles. That was not a sign of him doing anything more.
you know, sometimes it's easy to tell, but you know,
I guess
this is just me. I just know when it matters and I know when it doesn't, and it's a hard thing to teach.
I just think
it's a hard
easy
thing to teach and it's a hard thing to explain, but you know, this is what my Patreon is there for. So what my Patreon is there for, so you can get me explaining it to you whenever I want, instead of, because there were comments on this last week, instead of just the 90-minute distilled version, you can get me explaining it to you whenever. So that's what I do on there. There's only so much I can do on a live show. I'm not going to have everything for you, but this is good data. It's good data. Yeah. Foster Moreau played a lot of snaps, actually. They went away from 3 wide last week. That's actually something interesting. If you want to stash from the snap count data, that's actually more than any of this, is actually more something I'm interested in, that Foster Moreau actually saw a good amount of snaps. So if you want to stash in deep tight end premium leagues, if anything happened to Darren Waller, I actually think Foster Moreau could be relevant. So that's someone I would put on a bench in a tight end premium league. That's actually was my biggest, when I was doing the ranking update for the Raiders, that was actually the only thing I moved based on these snap counts, was I moved Renfro down because they went away from 3 wide receiver sets, and I moved Foster Moreau up as in the stash range because of his increased snap share. So that's the kind of thing you can take away from snap share. It's a tough thing. It's not an exact science.
Snap counts for me are just one of those things that I feel like they're red herrings more often than not. And
we'll agree to disagree.
There are other things that I want to see. Again, you have to be on the field to catch the ball, but there are just other things that I just think
agree to disagree. It's my best way of identifying breakouts before they happen. That's how I got Darnell Mooney before it happened. That's how Luke Farrell, for example, he came in and played a bunch of tight end for the Jaguars. He played a bunch of snaps this week. So he's someone now I'm watching. So these are how they're less important with the higher players, but with the lower players, that's how you get the breakout. That's how I get the player on my roster before they break out and they're in the waiver wire article, because that's how you win. Once they produce, it's too late. You have to see the snap count. If sometimes you see the snap count, but the production's not there, you can sneak them on your roster and then they produce the next week with the snap. So that's the big thing I use it for. It's a big thing I'm looking for, is players who didn't produce but played a lot of snaps. It does help you get breakouts on your team early. And that's a big advantage in Dynasty if you can do it. It's more useful for that than players at the top. I don't really care what Stephon Diggs' snap count is. I'm not even looking at that.
We are over time. We appreciate everyone. Listen, if you are in here, there's so many questions that we didn't get to. Hit us up on Twitter. Please go ahead. Here's my @ right here. There's Tyler's. You can DM me. You can tag Tyler. Make sure you hit us up with these questions, because we want to be able to help you. Make sure you do that. We will absolutely get to your questions if you do that way. We are out of time now, though. Tyler, last word, signing off. Anything else that you want to say?
Well, I just want to thank everyone who listened to the show. I want to thank everyone who supports this channel, all of Addison, Cal's, and everyone else's work on it. And, we just appreciate everyone who does that, subscribes to the channel, subscribes to DLF, and supports us on Twitter and everywhere else. And, it means a lot to us.
I have so much fun interacting with all you guys. Please hit us up, and we can continue that over there on the different app. So for Tyler, for Addison, who is awesome, make sure you check us out on Sundays. Make sure you check out everything that Tyler is doing on his YouTube channel as well. I've got my Dynasty Viper show tomorrow. It'd be cool if you guys came and check that out. I'm Calvin Hobby. He's Tyler. We're DLF. This is Ask DLF. It's Taco Tuesday.